What happens when a kobold with a bad attitude gets dueling pistols and a few snares? That's what we find out in today's episode. Welcome to Ctrl+Alt+Build, where we control the dice, alt the meta, and build the legend. I'm Nicholas, your virtual GM. Each episode, we randomize ancestry, background, class, deity, and archetype, then turn that chaos into a level 20 character you'll actually want at your table. Today's twisted creation, Codex entry number 7, the discarded duplicate. As always, the core of this build was forged in chaos, rolled at random, and shaped into legend. Our random rolls gave us a Kobold Gunslinger with the discarded duplicate background. From there, the divine shouts of Hei Fang, the Duke of Thunder, echoed our gunshots. Every choice after that was a challenge. How do we turn a small, angry reptile into a Wild West dueling legend? Let's see where that fate took us. Kobolds are short, power-seeking people with deadly cunning and carry the mark of powerful benefactors. They come with 6 hit points, are small-sized, and have a speed of 25 feet. Their boosts go to dexterity, charisma, and a free choice, though this does come with a flaw to constitution. The heritage dragon scale kobold boosts us right up to 10 hit points and gives us better defenses against breath weapons, sleep, and paralysis effects. We weren't hatched like most kobolds. We were crafted, a duplicate designed for a purpose that's long since been fulfilled. Now, free to wander, we've decided to carve out a new identity, as much as a duplicate can be their own person. This background provides us with 3 free attribute boosts. Normally, we would pick 2 of them, and the GM would select the last one based on who we were duplicated from. But we're just going to pick the 3 ourselves. For reasons unknown to us, the person we were duplicated from was a devout follower of Hei Fang, the Duke of Thunder. We aren't devoted to Hei Fang ourselves, but we like how intimidating he is and decided to shape our new personality around that aspect. Every gunslinger follows a way, a combination of philosophy and fighting styles that shapes their entire approach. We are practitioners of the way of the pistolero. Fancy pistol spins and challenging people to duels is our bread and butter. Every reload allows us to demoralize the person in front of us with our sheer affinity for intimidation. Before we get too deep into our Wild West escapades, let's check out how our little duelist is shaping up so far. For attribute scores, we have strength at a +2, dexterity +4, constitution +2, intelligence +1, wisdom +0, and charisma +1. For skills, we are expert in fortitude saves, reflex saves, and perception, with training in will saves, acrobatics, crafting, intimidation, performance, stealth, and thievery. For attacks, we have expert proficiency in martial firearms and crossbows, simple firearms and crossbows, with trained proficiency in martial weapons, simple weapons, and unarmed attacks. In defensive, we become trained in medium armor, light armor, and unarmored defense. For our ancestry feat, we are going with snare setter. We honor the long-used kobold art of making traps. This gives us access to all uncommon kobold snares, as well as the snare crafting feat, which allows us to use the craft activity to create snares and gives us 4 common first-level snares in our formula book. Our class feat is dual weapon reload. This lets us, as long as we are using a one-handed weapon in each hand, to not need a free hand to reload the weapons we are wielding. Who said you need hands to reload pistols anyway? With the foundation in place, let's keep building. At level 2, we take the next step into true gunslingerdom with the class feat munitions crafter. This lets us use advanced alchemy to create a number of daily consumables, alchemical bullets in our case, equal to 4 plus half our level rounded up. This also grants us the alchemical crafting feat. We get to add 4 first level type common or uncommon ammunition of our choice. When we craft these alchemical ammunitions, we create them in batches of 4. So if we were 4th level and used all of our consumables to create ammo, we would create 24 rounds. We double down on crafting here with the skill feat specialty crafting, going with alchemy specialty. This gives us a +1 circumstance bonus to crafting checks made with alchemical crafting, the better chance we have at making our munitions better. Between crafting snares and specialized ammo, we're building towards a kobold who controls the battlefield both up close and at range. Level 3 brings a skill increase to crafting from trained to expert. We pair this with the general feat Magical Crafting, which lets us craft magical items of 2nd level or lower. After all, if we are crafting snares and bullets, we might as well make magic items as well. We expand our crafting even further by learning Tattoo Artist. Now, we can craft 2nd level magical tattoos with a +1 bonus, and that bonus will rise to +2 and allow for 7th level tattoos once we master crafting. Our flair for the dramatic allows us to grab the class feat Ostentatious Reload here as well. We get to make a performance check against an easy DC as we spin our pistols around and attempt to reload mid-spin. On a critical success, we get to reload both pistols at once. At level 5, the winds shift. We train harder, move faster, and sharpen our edge. So it's time for a power boost. Constitution, Intelligence, and Charisma all get a +1, with Dexterity getting a partial boost. Our simple and martial firearms get a boost to master proficiency here as we become a better shot. Our body also moves better now, with our acrobatics increasing to expert proficiency and our athletics going from untrained to trained proficiency. We are considered a genius now with snares with the ancestry feat Snare Genius. This lets us reduce the crafting time from 1 minute to 3 actions instead. During daily prep, we can also prepare 3 snares for quick deployment. This will increase to 5 with legendary crafting proficiency. Our snares are also more effective. When someone critically fails against our snare and takes damage, they gain the off guard condition until the end of their next turn, making them easier to attack for us and our allies. The traps aren't just backup anymore. We are setting up lethal kill zones that keep enemies guessing while we keep the bullets flying. Now that we are an expert in acrobatics, we've become a distracting force on the battlefield. When we successfully tumble through an enemy, an ally who is next to that enemy can also step as a reaction to another spot still adjacent to that foe thanks to tumbling teamwork. We then further embody the duel at high noon culture with the class feat Pistolero's Challenge. This is where the Wild West fantasy kicks in. 1 target, 1 duel, and a higher risk of damage for both of us. It's risky, but that's the way of the pistolero. This lets us pick out a target within 30 feet and demand they duel us. If successful, both us and the target get a +2 status bonus to damage rolls with strikes made against each other. This will increase up to +4 with legendary intimidation. I mean, it's not a true duel if it's not a fair fight. Our ability to rattle enemies grows, and this is only the beginning of our rise as an intimidator, with intimidation proficiency increasing to expert at 7th level. Our next general feat comes online here, and we snag Fleet. This gives us a speed increase of 5 feet. As a pistolero, it's important we can get where we need to fast and keep our distance just as quickly. Coming into level 8, we get better at making munitions with the class feat Munitions Machinist. This grants us the quick alchemy benefits and 4 versatile vials, which can be used for alchemical ammunition. And of course, a tinkerer like us is always inventing. With the inventor skill feat, we can now spend downtime developing new formulas and expanding our crafting arsenal even further. Level 9 comes with an increase in our crafting skill to master proficiency. We take advantage of the chaos that our snares cause with the ancestry feat Snare Commando. If someone fails against our snare, we can use a reaction to attempt to demoralize the triggering creature. Nothing is more intimidating, after all, than being stuck in a snare with 2 pistols pointed at your face. With level 10 comes another embodiment of power. Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, and Charisma all get a +1 boost. We also pick up some training to society. Our crafting capabilities increase yet again with the class feat Precious Munitions. This lets us use advanced alchemy to create adamantine, cold iron, or silver ammunition. Then at 15th level, this will increase to high grade level ammo. As we have gotten better with crafting, we have also improved our speed in crafting, as represented with the quick setup skill feat. Just a note, if you are not using a crafting rule set that can make use of this feat, then just swap it out. Like crafting, we have mastered the ways of intimidation, with our intimidation skill proficiency increasing to master level at level 11. But that doesn't mean either that it's reached its peak. At this point, we don't just craft, we masterfully create. Thanks to impeccable crafting, anytime we will succeed at crafting alchemical items, we automatically critically succeed instead. Our munitions are flawless every time. Once discarded, a copy without purpose. This small kobold was meant to be forgotten. But where others saw waste, fate saw potential. Born not of an egg, but of design, he stepped into the world with no name, no destiny, only thunder echoing in his ears. The storm called to him, and he answered. In the shadow of Haifang's roar, the kobold forged his own identity. Not as a priest or prophet, but as a will of force, a duelist who would carve his name into the annals of legend one shot at a time. His pistols, twin extensions of his fury, spun through the air with grace and deadly purpose. Each reload is a performance, every duel a dance with death beneath the crackling storm clouds. But our kobold's legend is not built on bravado alone. With cunning claws and sharp eyes, he weaves the ancient arts of his people. Snares laid like whispered threats across the battlefield. One misstep, and enemies find themselves tangled and helpless, staring down the gleaming barrels of finely tuned, chemically infused ammunition. Cold iron, silver, adamantine, no creature escapes unscathed once he has time to prepare. In the quiet hours, away from the heat of combat, his hands remain ever busy. His workshop hums with the glow of alchemical fires and the etching of runes, crafting not just bullets, but talismans, tattoos, and wonders few crafters could match. Magic, machinery, and menace, all bound beneath those tiny clawed fingers. Even his enemies cannot help but hesitate. His stare, sharp and unflinching, has broken the wills of stronger foes, leaving them quivering before a single shot is fired. Each fight begins with fear and ends with the echo of gunfire. If this is where his tale closed, our duelist would already stand among the greats, a craftsman, a trap master, a showman, and a pistolero without peer. But if the storm still rumbles, if fate has one more roll of the dice, then let us journey forward and witness the second half of the legend unfold. As we step into the second half of the build with level 12, we decide that one shot at a time simply isn't enough, with the class feat twin shot knockdown. In the blink of an eye, both pistols fire in perfect sync, 2 bullets slamming into the same target, dropping them to the ground before they can even react. And our crafting has become so sought after that we decided we needed to start stamping our signature on our crafts via the skill feat signature crafting. After crafting an item, we make a flat check. On a success, a random item quirk is added. On a critical, we get to select the specific quirk. People will know when they come across one of our creations. Our acrobatics improve to master proficiency here at level 13, and our handling of our firearms improves to legendary proficiency. Our pistols spin and fire with flawless precision. No hesitation, no wasted movement. At this point, we aren't a duelist, we are the duelist. Pistols aren't our only strength, however, as the ancestry feat Vicious Snares adds an additional 1d6 of damage on our snares, increasing to 2d6 when we reach legendary crafting status. At level 14, we continue to unleash a barrage of pistol fire with the class feat 2-weapon full assad. This one's real simple. 1 action, 2 shots. Our crafting skill has gained renown enough for us to have our own students with the skill feat Master of Apprentice. When we are crafting or earning income as a downtime activity, we can aid someone else who is crafting, allowing the crafter to use our crafting result instead of their own on a success. We are so talented that just providing advice improves others' crafts. Level 15 brings with it some extra explosive power. Wisdom and charisma get +1 boosts, while dexterity and constitution get partial boosts. We gain some training in diplomacy, but the real news here, our crafting skill has hit legendary proficiency. With legendary crafting under our belt, we have become a true legendary tattoo artist. Now, when we ink tattoos at least 3 levels below ours, their attack rolls, DC, and resistances all increase by 1, making every mark we create even more potent. Our bravado at level 16 has manifested into the class feat Come At Me. This lets us have as many pistolero challenges going on at once as we like. We no longer face our enemies one by one. Now, every fool who dares raise a weapon against us joins the brawl. The OK Corral? That was child's play. This is our storm. Crafting is not just a skill we have, it's a part of who we are. And our skill feat Craft Anything illustrates that by allowing us to craft nearly any item while ignoring most requirements that would normally exist for it. If we want it, we can build it. End of discussion. Our ability to intimidate those who oppose us reaches legendary status, with level 17 bringing our intimidation skill to legendary proficiency. For our ancestry feat, our selection of Benefactor's Majesty allows us to gain temporary hit points equal to our level, lets us attempt to remove each of the persistent damage effects applied to us, and until the start of our next turn, anyone targeting us with a harmful spell, attack, or ability has to make a flat check and are disrupted on a failure. As the saying goes, you never know whose treasure hoard this kobold belongs to. Sometimes you are simply better than everyone else at something, and that's exactly the statement we make with our level 18 class feat Piercing Critical. We now treat nat 19s like nat 20s. We are simply better at hitting critical spots than others. Our skill feat Scared to Death plays into that, as our intimidation checks now literally make people think they're going to die. And on a critical success, they literally do die. Level 19 brings our acrobatics to their peak with legendary proficiency. I mean, after all, who doesn't like firing shots while doing no-handed cartwheels? Our eyes also evolve with the general feat True Perception, which puts our sight under the effects of a 6th rank True Sight spell at all times. Alright, here we are at the peak of power, level 20. We get our final attribute boost, with Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom all getting a +1. Our ability to demoralize gets even stronger with Terrified Retreat. When we are critically succeeding at demoralizing someone, if their level is lower than ours, they gain the fleeing condition for 1 round. Lastly, we embody Heifeng with the class feat Dance of Thunder. This lets us step, strike a target, and reload. If our strike is successful, we do it again. If that strike is successful, we do it 1 more time. After this, we do become fatigued for 1 minute, but one does not engage with the Dance of Thunder without full energy. At the peak of our legend, we became the Eye of the Storm itself. Our strikes are relentless, our intimidation absolute, and our enemies, whether they run or fall, are powerless before the thunder. The legend of the discarded duplicate has not faded. It has only grown more impossible to ignore. Where once there was only a single duelist standing boldly beneath the storm, now there stands a force of nature who welcomes any number of challengers. The kobold no longer limits himself to one target. He calls out entire battlefields, daring all who oppose him to step forward and test their fate. Each pistol shot is a warning, each reload a declaration. The crafting bench remains his second battlefield, where his hands work with a mastery few could dream of. Nothing is beyond his reach. If a thing can be imagined, it can be built. Strange designs, forbidden devices, weapons etched with intricate runes and personal flourishes. Every creation carries his signature, and whispers of his growing myth spread across every market, tavern, and war camp. And yet, crafting is only a part of his dominion. His snares grow crueler, their teeth sharper. Those foolish enough to stumble into his traps find themselves immobilized and helpless, staring into the eyes of a duelist who no longer hesitates to finish what was started. His mere presence drains the courage of stronger foes. A glance, a smirk, a whisper, and the hearts of enemies freeze with terror. Some collapse beneath the weight of imagined death, unable to withstand the sheer force of his will. Those who survive his gaze rarely survive his pistols. On the battlefield, he moves like liquid thunder, spinning, flipping, firing. His acrobatics are as effortless as his precision. Every motion is beautifully timed. Each bullet strikes where it must. Even the flow of magic bends before his sight, as hidden threats are revealed and illusions crumble under his gaze. And at his command, the true fury of the storm is unleashed. A relentless dance of gunfire and steel. One shot leads into the next, and into the next. An unbroken chain of violence that leaves nothing standing but the eye of the storm itself. Only when his energy is spent does the storm subside, leaving a field of broken wills and fallen foes in his wake. This is no longer a discarded duplicate. This is a legend. Reborn, duelist, master craftsman, architect of terror, and the walking herald of thunder itself. At its heart, this build was always about taking something small and overlooked, a kobold duplicate discarded after serving its purpose, and forging it into a legend worthy of song. The discarded duplicate blends the deadliest aspects of gunslinging precision, cruel trap-making, unbreakable craftsmanship, and battlefield bravado into one wildly entertaining package. Mechanically, you're looking at a true hybrid powerhouse. The crafting engine fuels nearly every part of the kit. Alchemical munitions, devastating snares, magical tattoos, even custom items that ignore crafting prerequisites entirely. All while stacking precision strikes, rapid reloads, and escalating intimidation that can drop enemies before they even draw their weapons. And when they do, well, there's always room for more pistolero challenges. At the table, this build offers non-stop cinematic moments. You're not just attacking, you're performing. You're not just crafting, you're leaving your signature across the campaign world. Whether you're baiting enemies into snares, flipping through a crossfire of pistol shots, or terrifying entire battlefields into submission, you're always doing something memorable. And for your GM, this character creates natural plot hooks. Who made you? Why were you discarded? And who, or what, is watching your growing legend? This is the kind of build that can steal the spotlight one moment and set up your party for a big combo play the next. It's got flair, it's got teeth, and above all, it's a whole lot of fun to play. And that wraps up this entry in the Codex. At Ctrl+Alt+Build, we don't ignore the dice, we embrace them. We don't reject weird combos, we celebrate them. The builds here are made to surprise your GM, delight your table, and inspire new stories that only your group could tell. If this video gave you ideas, or even just made you laugh, drop a like, hit subscribe, and tell me how you'd run the discarded duplicate at your table. Let's talk in the comments. And if you want to see a halfling exemplar who challenges the gods themselves with a storm of throwing knives, click that video over there. Until next time, control the dice, alt the meta, build the legend. I've been Nicholas, your virtual GM. Thanks for watching.